guys, it's Pinkstar. Welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be going through my June wrap up and telling you guys what I read, if anything was good. I can tell you there was a 5-star in there, which was great. There was also my first DNF, so let's get on with the video. Alright, so first up in June we read Sylvanas, which is a World of Warcraft novel. If you don't know, I love World of Warcraft. I play the game nearly every day, so yeah, love World of Warcraft, and I pretty much own all the World of Warcraft books. So this is the most recent book that released, and it is all about Sylvanas. And generally I play Alliance, so it was really good getting to see some of Sylvanas' perspective, being on the Horde, and you know, where she came from, why she ended up being such a bad guy, because she didn't start off like that. And I absolutely loved, like, the first 3/4 of this book was like amazing. It was just so good getting to see all her backstory, her family, and just, you know, what happened and how she became who she was. The last little bit kind of felt a little bit drawn out for a bit, and when I kind of started talking about Shadowlands, Jailer, all of that, I still don't really understand the Jailer's motives, so I don't know, that bothers me. But I really enjoyed the interludes, because there's interludes in between some of the chapters of her talking to Anduin Wrynn, who is the Alliance King, and it's just really cool getting to see their interaction. And yeah, it's a little bit hard to explain if you don't play World of Warcraft and you have no idea all these characters and who I'm talking about, but Sylvanas is pretty much the bad guy in World of Warcraft. She has been for the last couple of expansions, and yeah, it's just really good getting to see what happened, and you know, if she got redemption. Redemption. God, I can't even speak. But yeah, anyway, I gave this a 4-star rating and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Alright, next up I read The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. This one was a bit slower than I expected it to be. I really enjoyed the whole concept. So this one is about this guy who has created what's called DNA Duo, which essentially is like a dating app, but they use your DNA to match you with people. So they've worked out your DNA sequencing to see who pretty much is your best match and your, like, who could be a soulmate for you. So it is really interesting, because I feel like that's something that could probably happen later on down the track. Other than that, the main character I thought was a bit boring. I didn't really like her that much. And it was definitely more like slice of life than romance. There wasn't a huge amount of romance in it. Like, probably the first half I was like waiting for it to get like real into the romancy stuff, and I would have liked a little bit more steam. But otherwise, it was a really nice story. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5-star rating, and I mean, I would recommend reading it because it is really good, but it's just not amazing. Some people might really love this, but it just was lacking something for me, and I don't know what it was, but I just wanted a little bit more, I think. Yeah. But no, the story was good. I did enjoy the whole concept of it, and I quite liked the main love interest, though it did take me a little while to get into it, but yeah. Anyway, that is that one. Alright, next up is The Final Strife. This was an ARC book that I got from NetGalley, and it came out at the end of last month, and I loved this book so much. This was my 5-star read. I absolutely love this and would highly recommend picking it up. Alright, I don't want to go into it too much, but there are 3 main female characters that you follow, and all 3 of them have a different blood colour, and blood colours are pretty much like the hierarchy of this world. So the Empire, there are the red-blooded embers, there's blue-blooded dusters, and then there's clear blood people who are called ghostings. And the embers pretty much rule everything. They are the high-ups, they run the government, the police, all of that. They live in the rich, fancy area. Only embers are allowed to rule the government. So there's 5, I think, different wardens, and they're all embers. And every 10 years they change wardens, but by doing like this thing called the Akbar trials. And the Akbar trials are there to choose the next wardens, and they always have to be an ember. And then there's the dusters, and the dusters are the blue-blooded people, and they are like the poor, the lowly workers, things like that. And they live in kind of like the slumsy areas away from the embers, and they can't even get into the ember section because you've got to have do a blood test to get through the gates, which is all crazy. So yeah, if you've got blue blood, that's it. Like, you don't stand a chance just because you're born that way. And then there's the ghostings with the clear blood, and these guys have it the worst of everybody. They are the slaves, so pretty much they're slaves for dusters and embers, and they have no hands and no tongues because they were cut off for rebelling 400 years ago. And so the people who are born now still have to suffer for what their ancestors did 400 years ago, which is really sucky. But yeah, I really enjoyed how this tackled like racism, but using blood colour rather than skin colour, because on the outside everybody looks the same, which was quite interesting, apart from obviously the ghostings, because they're obvious with their no hands. So the main premise is there's this group called the Sandstorm who swapped babies. I can't remember how long ago. They swapped babies anyway, so they put blue-blooded babies in red-blooded babies' places, and they swapped them out. And so they took the red-blood babies, and they wanted to train them up to be the next disciples for the wardens and compete in the Akbar trials, so that they could have someone that the blue-blooded people like controlled pretty much, that could be in power. So that's kind of the main premise of it, and it is really interesting. There's so much that happens. The world building is so good. I absolutely loved it. The trials were really cool. The characters are great. I love everything that they went through. There's a slow burn romance, which was cute. Yeah, I don't know. I just love this book so much, and I highly recommend everybody read it. Alright, and lastly we have Shiva. This sat on my bookshelf for like the last 10 years, waiting to be read. It finally came the time to read it, and sadly, I DNF'd this book. I only read about 80 pages and decided it just wasn't for me. Maybe when I was 14 this might have been good, but no, not any longer. It was so cringy. The main character was just weird, kind of creepy. He had this like bestiality thing for a wolf that apparently saved her from other wolves. So the beginning, first chapter, the girl is attacked by wolves. She's pretty much dying, and then this other wolf like looks in her eyes and gets rid of the other wolves, and then from that moment on she's in love with this wolf. Yep. I mean, it turns out the wolf is actually a werewolf and he's actually a boy, so that's not so bad, but she doesn't know that, and she's just like obsessed with this wolf. She takes photos of the wolf, she loves the wolf, she goes and feeds the wolf, she wants to see the wolf all the time. She's all sad when she doesn't see the wolf, and then as people come to kill the wolves after the wolves attack people, and she has this panic attack and goes and runs out into the forest to save her wolf. And I'm just like, that's just too, I don't know, like you wouldn't do that. And I hate how it was written as well. It was written in first person, and it just was really badly done, and it was clearly like a young person, not like, she's not, obviously not an adult, but she just, yeah, I don't know, I can't even explain it, but it was just really cringy. And the whole, like, even the boy who's the wolf, there's chapters from his point of view that you get to read, and he was like instantly in love with her as well. And I think the whole instant love thing, like love at first sight, is just, it just doesn't feel right. Like, it wasn't done well, and it's just, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. And I thought I'd like it because I like werewolves and I like vampires and things, and I thought this would be like a really cool werewolf love story, but no, it was just cringy. Also has like lots of like metaphors for like cold and things, which is, I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about it anymore. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. If you liked it, good for you. But I didn't, and I am going to be unhauling this as well as the next 2 books in the series because I own all 3. Yes, I bought the whole trilogy and then realised that I don't like it 10 years later. But that's fine. Somebody will probably enjoy this. Maybe I'll give it to like a school library or something because, as I said, like people, like young people, like this is young adult, but this is like really young adult. Like, yeah. So maybe like 14-year-olds will actually want to read this and probably enjoy it, but I didn't. Alright, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Only 4 books this month, but they were pretty good, apart from the one DNF, unfortunately. I have caught up now on all my reading since this was a catch-up month from May. But yeah, July I have 6 new books to try and finish. So make sure you check out my July TBR video if you haven't already. I'll post a link down below. As always, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos from me. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!